Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jo, this is Joey Sewy, and today we have got my April favourites video. So thank you for being there. Just a quick note that if you are watching this before the 3rd or on the 3rd of May, then hop on over to my giveaway video, which I will link to up here, because I have 10 free patterns to give away and I wouldn't want you to miss out. So if you haven't done that already, then maybe go there first and then come back here. But if you came for the favourites, or if it's after the 3rd of May, then let's get on with it. So I've been doing these videos for a while. I missed out March because I didn't have any favourites. I was doing too much university work and there was nothing favourite about that. I was basically too busy, so it skipped. I'm sorry. But here we are back in April, at the very end of April, but I'm here with my April favourites video. So let's get straight into it. And the first thing, I've been trying to do the same categories each video so that you can, so that we can follow the same sort of thing. First of all, I'll tell you where I am. Look at this lovely wall, hand painted by me. I'm in one of my son's bedrooms, who, if you know about these things, you will recognise that immediately as a Minecraft themed wall. The whole room is Minecraft theme, which meant that I had to spend several days on each wall painting the squares. That was fun. Well, it kind of was fun, but it took a lot of time. So yeah, that's where I am today. I try and mix it up when I do the backgrounds, at least for the favourite videos, because then it's quite interesting, isn't it? So, favourite YouTube video. I've got two. One is fairly normal. The first one is the Sew the Trends video that the Fold Line do. So I really like these videos. You may have seen them, so if you watch a lot of sewing vlogs, they're likely to have come up for you. I like pretty much everything that the Fold Line do. I think they keep some really interesting content on their channel. But I really particularly like the Sew the Trends video because I love how she goes out into the high street and then relates that to what you could sew at home. I don't think you necessarily need to keep up with high fashion. I used to do that, well, a bit. I've never been super high fashion, but I used to pay attention to that sort of thing. I don't too much anymore, but I would like to know that I'm not dressing like a 42-year-old mother. I am paying a little bit of attention to the fact that I live in 2019. So I like the Sew the Trends video because of the basic concept. The second video that I picked out probably does show my age actually, because it's a Star Wars trailer. And I was born pretty much around the time when Star Wars started, and my childhood, I was Princess Leia. Every time I played Star Wars, my mum would do the hair for me, the two big buns here, and I would be rescued by Luke and Han Solo. Not very girl power, I suppose. Although then again, you know, we didn't have many other female superhero or role models, so maybe Princess Leia is fine, and she's certainly turning out to be awesome in these films. So the trailer, I've picked it. The film itself, it's episode 9, and it's being billed as the end of the story, or the kind of the conclusion of the story. I'm sure they'll do other films, we know that, don't we? But it's been building up and building up and building up for years, if not lifetimes, to this movie. The subtitle is The Rise of Skywalker, I believe. And I like it for two reasons. I like it for the movie reason, which is I think it's a really exciting trailer. At the end of it, when I watch it, I always want to go, ooh, because I'm so excited to see it, and we have to wait months because I believe it comes out at Christmas 2019. But there you go. But the other one is that ever since they started these new versions, and Rey, the character Rey, if you know, has come into the thing. Her clothes, the draping here, I'll put a picture up, but the draping and the costume that she wears is just beautiful. Obviously, you've got to suspend disbelief. Why would anyone have such complex draping on a costume that basically they're going to fight in? I don't know. She seems to do okay in it. But I just love that costume. It's really beautiful. So I'll put a still up here. And you can see if you're as distracted by the beautiful draping as I am, or whether you just go, ooh, about being excited about the film. So there you go. Those have been my favourite YouTube videos of the last month or so. second category that I'm going on to today is my favourite sewing patterns, my favourite new sewing patterns. So I've not done very well at narrowing this down, and I appear to have 4 on my list. It was supposed to be 1, and then I started going more, and now I have 4. So I'm going to zoom through these really quite quickly, because this isn't supposed to be a sewing pattern review video. It's supposed to be general favourites, but anyway. So first, these are in no particular order, they're the order that I found them. First one is the Emerald Dress by Made by Ray. I really liked, obviously I'll have pictures up, I really liked how simple this looked. It's cut on the bias, which if you've never done it before, it would be a really good skill to try. I've done it, but it was years ago. So if I was to make this dress, I'd have to pay a lot of attention to the stuff about cutting on the bias. Generally, you just have to be really careful that you don't stretch things as you sew them, because bias cutting, the idea of that, isn't it, is that it stretches and shapes around the body. So I like that it's a really simple looking dress, but at the same time it will shape to your body a little bit. So it takes it from being something that's super simple to something that's quite stylish. I always like a V-neck, so I really liked the look of that. Yeah, so that's why I picked that one out. And the second one I found is also actually simple, but just a notch up in the same sort of way. It's the Isidro top by Itch to Stitch. Now, essentially this is just a t-shirt, except it's not just a t-shirt, because I love how she's got that gathering around the neck, and you could do little flutter sleeves as well. I'm sure you could change that to be normal sleeves if you wanted, but it would be just as comfortable as a t-shirt. But you could wear that with jeans or under a suit. It's drafted for jerseys and knits, so you need to make it in a stretch fabric unless you're going to do a lot of adaptation to the sizing of the pattern. But it's, yeah, it would be really comfortable, fairly simple, but with a little bit extra to make it interesting in terms of the sew, and I really like how it looks. So that's one that I actually might have a go at sewing next time I want to make a t-shirt, because I thought that was a really nice take on a simple top. The third one is it's a sew over it pattern, and it's the Amelia jacket, named after Amelia Earhart, who, if you don't know her, she was a pioneering female explorer. She I think she was the first woman, if not the first person, to fly over the Atlantic. But anyway, she was known for being a pilot back in the 40s, and so of course it's kind of a bomber jacket flying style. I really liked it. It's, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a step away from, it's slightly more modern than I find a lot of sew over it patterns to be, and I don't often see myself wearing a lot of what they release, even though I like the whole concept and, you know, I'm quite a fan of the brand and I'm interested in it. I've never ever made one of their patterns because I've never really felt like it fits into my style or my life. Whereas this one, I need some summer, or some jackets or something to put over a t-shirt when it gets a bit cooler, or when you want to wear a jacket but you don't really need to be too hot. And this might fit into that, so I liked the style of the Amelia jacket. And the last one, I really have whizzed through these, the last one is another dress. I hardly ever wear dresses actually, but we went on holiday at the start of this month, and I think that's why my head is in a bit more of a dress mode, because back in England it's pretty much trousers every day. In the winter I might wear dresses because you can cover your legs up with tights, which I like. So in the summer, even though for a lot of people that's dress season, it's not so much for me, but I really liked the emerald dress that I've already shown you. And then I wouldn't normally put 2 dresses in here, but I found this one, which is the Sydney designer dress by Style Arc, and I just thought it was really cool, but really effortlessly cool, unlike the way I'm saying that. So it's it has a seam across here, which I think offers some really good colour blocking opportunities, or just stripes going in different directions, for example. And then the rest of the body is quite a cocoon shape, which is both cool in a literal not hot sense, but also I think it looks really stylish. The other thing I particularly like about it, it has some style lines down the front, so it has 2 seams down well not here, from there, I believe it has a seam there and there, which again you could colour block, but also allows some shaping, allows for some pockets. And finally it has a high-low hem from the front to the back. And I quite like that. If I do ever get my legs out when there's a blue moon, I do prefer to have a high-low hem, because I feel like it kind of covers me up, but also is more flattering to how my legs look at the front. So I've got a couple of dresses, which are the only ones that really come out in the sunshine, and they are high-low. Personally, I think I'd make it this Sydney dress slightly shorter than shown, so that the high part is just below the knee. But that's just a choice about how I like the hemline to hit my leg. So that's 4 patterns, 2 dresses, 1 top, 1 jacket. Take your pick. Whether I'll actually sew any of them, so far in these favourite videos I haven't sewn any of the things I've picked out. Not that I didn't like them, but you know, that's the way of these things. So the next category that I put in here is my favourite me-made garment. It's not the favourite thing that I've made this month, because I fit what I've made this month into different videos. It's what have I been wearing the most this month, and the answer is it's various pairs of ginger jeans. So I'll hold them up, they look like rags. I've got, I made these ages ago, you won't have seen these on my channel before. They're both made out of the same fabric, because it's blue on the outside, and as you can see it is purple on the inside. So for one pair I made them that way, and for another pair I made them that way. Now they're probably, I reckon they're getting on for 2 years old, and the fabric was, they were the second and third pair I'd ever made, and the fabric was a little bit stretchier than I anticipated. So even though they fit quite well, and they certainly fit better than shop bought jeans, I often had to hitch them up at the back, and they're the low rise version, which sits below your navel. And I've since made quite a few pairs, 3 pairs of the high rise version, which sits about on your navel, and I just prefer how that fits. So these weren't getting a lot of wear. And what I've spent an awful lot of time doing in the last month or 2 months, when I haven't been doing university work or being on holiday, is being out in the garden. So I have reached the momentous moment in my life when me-made garments get relegated into the wear for gardening pile, and I'm actually quite proud about that. I'm proud about it because it means they've lasted that long. It also means that I actually don't have many non-me made trousers anymore, and I just got to the point where I was sick of looking like a tramp in the garden. I've been working on the front garden quite a lot, and so I feel a little bit more watched, even though we live in a quiet place. And I just thought, you know what, why do I need to wear these tramp-like clothes, literally? I know it's because I don't care about getting dirty and scruffy and stuff, but I did feel a little bit like I could probably step up the style stakes just a little bit. So I looked at these pairs of jeans and thought, I'm not wearing them very much on a day-to-day basis, so let's put them in the gardening pile instead, which is a different drawer in my wardrobe, and wear them for gardening. So that is what I did. So I've been wearing these to death. They'll start getting worn out. They weren't worn out at all, but they've been getting very heavy wear for the last couple of months. I don't bother ironing things that I garden in, because, you know, why would you? But that's what I've been wearing lots of. And that is related to one of my favourite purchases, which is this. Also, probably not going to win a lot of style points here, but these are braces. And I was out in the garden and I was thinking, oh God, I'm spending most of my day hitching my trousers up. There must be something I could do about that. Hang on a minute. Of course there is. It's wear braces. So that is what I bought. These are men's braces for all that it matters. Bought them off Amazon. I could have made some braces, but honestly couldn't be bothered. And I only use them for gardening. They have, I don't know how well you can see that. Yes, you can see that. So they have a cross at the back. They come up the front. They have these lethal little crocodile clips there. You see those? And you clip them on your waistband. I'm sure you know how braces work, but they changed my life. they changed my actual life, because I don't spend all my time hitching my trousers up when I'm gardening now. It's a miracle. I don't spend any time hitching my trousers up when I'm gardening now. There is no chance of my bottom falling out of my trousers, which, yes, is revolutionary. So braces was one of my 2 favourite purchases of the month. My second favourite purchase of the month is something you may instantly know what it is or may have no idea what it is, depending on whether you're a gardener. I bought 100 bare root trees. Yeah, 100. That was, well, I needed 100, but it meant I had to plant 100. So what are bare root trees? I'm going to try and insert some video to show you where I've planted them. Basically, in the winter, between November-ish and April-ish, depending on where you live, I'm talking about northern England here, trees go to sleep, most of them, and you can dig up a tree, as long as it's small enough to do so. And what a nursery does is it washes all of the soil off the tree, and you compost those, and they literally look like a twig, more or less, with a bunch of roots on, no soil whatsoever. It means they're a lot cheaper to buy, they're a lot cheaper to grow, they're a lot cheaper to post. So these trees, which if you bought them in a pot in a nursery, you'd be looking at maybe £15 each, maybe 10 if you were lucky. They're about £3 each. And as long as you get them into the ground within a couple of weeks of buying them and them arriving, then you're absolutely fine. As soon as they arrive, you shove them in a bucket of water, because they would like some water. But they're not growing, they're dormant. And then you dig a hole, put them in. This isn't a gardening channel, but it is a really, really cost-effective way of buying quite mature plants. My 2 favourite purchases this month, which were related to gardening. It's that time of year. Right, what are we moving on to? We are moving on to my favourite gadget, which is not garden related. Probably could do garden related, but I'm not gonna, because this is a sewing channel. Where's it gone? Here we are. My favourite gadget of the month is my button gauge. It is the Simplex Expanding Sewing Gauge. If I take it out of there, that's going to work better, isn't it? There you are. So it's usually sold as a button gauge, but you can use it for measuring almost anything that you need to be evenly spaced. And if you watch my What Have I Been Sewing in April video, which you can't yet because I haven't made it, but when I do, you will be able to watch it in about a week, you will see that I've sewn a couple of shirts this month, and this is fantastic for spacing buttons, because as you can see, everything is evenly apart. So however long you have to put your buttons on, you then put it on your garment and you can work around. So for example, if you really need a button here because normally that gapes and you have to have one there, you could fix one there and then work out how to space them in between. It just makes a job that normally is quite fiddly and potentially you get it wrong, super simple. It was a Christmas present, I think, this year, or maybe a birthday present. They are not super cheap, about £20, but you're only going to buy one in your life. And when you use it, you're like, oh, I'm so pleased that I've got that. So this is my favourite gadget of the month because I've been sewing a few shirts. Okay, last category is my favourite podcast or radio programme. So this one is called The Curious Cases of Rutherford and Fry. It originally is broadcast on Radio 4 in the UK, but it is available worldwide as a podcast, so it's something that's relevant to everyone. It's a science podcast, and I love it because it's a science podcast that does proper, actual, definitely right science, but it's got a sense of humour as well. Their thing is basically all those "why is it like this?" question. So for example, I got a few examples. What makes things sharp? Thought that was relevant to sewing because of scissors. But yeah, why is a thing sharp? I know how to sharpen something, but why does that work? When you start thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to that one, so I don't know the answer yet. Why do voices change as we get older? So, and another one that I just picked out that sounded really interesting. Why do we have genders or sexes? And why do we only have 2? Yeah, I guess the basic answer of why do we have sexes is to mix up the gene pool. I haven't listened to that one either. I have listened to this, I promise. But why only 2? I don't know. So they always give you those answers to the questions that are like, oh, yeah, why is that like that? And it's really funny. It's Dr. Oh, God, I'm not going to remember their names now. I know it's Dr. Hannah Fry. I can't remember his first name. Dr. Adam Rutherford. He's a science presenter on the rest of the BBC too. I really like the stuff that both of them do elsewhere on the BBC, but it's a really funny podcast. So if you like nerdy questions, they do a short version and a long version. If you can get it direct from the BBC, I think they do a 15-minute version and then half an hour. But it's worth a listen. When we were coming back from our holiday, and everyone was super tired because we'd travelled most of the day and we still had a 2-hour drive home from the airport, I downloaded a load of those, and all 4 of us in the car, the 2 adults and the 2 kids, really loved to listen to it. So I like how it pitches at all those levels as well, so you can listen to it as a family. So it's got that going for it. Now then, the observant among you may have noticed that I missed one out this month, and that is my favourite Instagram hashtag or post. And it's because basically I haven't touched Instagram, so I haven't got one. Could you please help me out with 2 things? First is, if you've seen something really interesting on Instagram, or just, you know, funny or beautiful picture, let me know in the comments down below. Let everyone know in the comments down below, and that would be good. But the second one is, can you think of any categories? So if I'm not going to be spending a lot of time on Instagram, maybe I'm not, it's not something I've ever got into really deeply. Maybe I will, but I'm not sure. So if that's not going to work out as a favourites category, what would you like me to put in as a favourite instead? So suggest that down in the comments below, and if some marvellous ideas come up, I know they will because you're all amazing, then maybe I'll include that in my next favourites video. Thank you very much for watching. It is wonderful having you there. If you would like to see something else from my channel, it will magically appear here, and I'll be back really soon with another video. Bye for now.